Hi guys, welcome to Tamra, the Judeo-Christian medium. I'm Tamra, the Jewish Christian medium. I started out, as many of you know, as a tarot reader here on YouTube. And then as time went on, I started to connect with Jesus and my team and realize that I'm a Jewish Christian medium, and I'm trying to follow and honor the suggestions from Jesus when he was here, the suggestions he received from God when he was here before his crucifixion. I'm sorry, I made that sound so positive, but yeah, before his crucifixion, he had positive suggestions for the Jewish people to help them with their lives. So I don't want to get too deep into that right now, because we are here to talk to Tamla Horsford. So before I get started, I'm sorry about my setup tonight. I'm still in transition, and so I thought, we'd just chill out. Tamla says we're on island time. That'll make sense. I'll explain that in a minute. So I'm really distracted because I want to show you guys. If you look at this nice candle I have burning for her, nice vanilla cupcake candle. Try not to move the camera too much. But if you look to the upper left, you can see the reflection of the Empire State Building. So I don't know if you guys can see that. I can see it very clearly. I'll have to watch this and see. So obviously I live right near the Empire State Building, which is kind of cool. You guys will probably hear sirens and stuff like that. So if camera shaking bothers you, I might be shaking the camera a little bit here and there. So you guys might want to just listen to this video. It's up to you. As always, I recommend, if you watch a lot of YouTube, which I pretty much just watch YouTube now, I do have the YouTube Premium, which really helps. You don't have any commercials, so I swear I don't work for YouTube, but I'm just trying to help you guys out. So, and it helps you relax. You don't have to keep pressing. I can't remember what you'd have to press, but I think it's like skip ad. Anyway, Tamla's like, okay, let's get to this. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Miss Tamla Horsford. Yay! She's doing a little curtsy, guys. Oh, Tamla, you look beautiful, guys. She looks really beautiful. She has like a Hawaiian type dress on. It's a sundress. It's green, and it has really nice, like, she says it's more Caribbean. It has really nice flowers, so like white flowers with green stems. What are those? It's like a magnolia. And she has a flower in her hair, and she made her hair kind of poofy. Oh, she's just glowing, guys. She's so beautiful. Yeah. All right, so before we get started talking with Tamla, I just I want to thank my team that is here. We have God all around us. And my personal messengers are Jesus, Mother Mary. So I want to thank Jesus, thank Mother Mary, thank Father Joseph, thank Archangel Michael, thank Metatron, thank Archangel Eric Medhus. Archangel Eric Medhus is the my archangel, our archangel, who connects me to spirits, to especially, spirits that I channel, celebrity spirits. If you all feel inclined, you want to try to connect to someone on the other side, ask Archangel Eric Medhus. This is his specialty. Moving on, I want to thank Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Sandalphon, Archangel Azrael, Archangel Raphael. Sorry, it goes Sandalphon, Raphael, Azrael, Archangel Jophiel, Archangel Uriel, which is me. I'll explain that in another video. Archangel Zadkiel, thank you. Thank you, Archangel Jeremiah. Thank you, Archangel Raguel. Thank you, Archangel Chamuel. Thank you, Archangel Ezekiel. Thank you, Archangel Haniel. And thank you, Archangel Daniel. And we also have the Pleiadians with us, the Arcturians, and the Tall Whites. So we'd like to thank them for their assistance and their information. And also to let you know, Miss Tamla Horsford is Pleiadian and Arcturian. And she's laughing. She's saying, yeah, pretty much why she was taken out, like many starseeds, taken out by the dark reptilian energy. And this is serious, guys. This is spiritual warfare. If you feel that you are a starseed, please heed this warning. I don't want to scare people, and I know a lot of people in the spiritual community are big on not living in fear. And there's a difference. You don't want to live in fear, and Tamla's talking to me too. You don't want to live in fear, but you also want to be aware, and be aware that there is spiritual warfare. And if you are a starseed, there is pretty much a target on your back, and you just have to be aware of that. And we'll get into that at another time. I want to move on from that a little bit. So Tamla was born October 10th, 1978, making her a Libra. And many starseeds have Libra somewhere in their chart. Libra is one of the signs for justice and balance, and it gives people that aspect. It's a bit hard to explain, but as a spirit, we would have that aspect, and then we would choose that birth chart, if that makes sense. I try to explain some of this stuff as I go along in each video. Also, it's being explained to me. So I also need and want to let you all know that I am part of the Galactic Federation, which I will explain further at another time. And some of you are aware of the Galactic Federation. It's the Pleiadians, Arcturians, tall whites, starseeds that are here trying to protect the planet from the dark reptilian energy, trying to keep balance, trying to prevent the dark reptilian energy from being in power, because the end result of that would be annihilation, and we don't want that to happen. So we're all here to keep balance. And let's move on. Let's see here. Tamla's, she's doing like that fake smile, like, come on. She wants to say that, you know, her being Pleiadian and Arcturian sometimes made her a bit naive. So if you guys have been following my videos, my last video was Anna Nicole Smith, who was also Pleiadian and Arcturian. She was the mix. And she passed the baton to Miss Tamla Horsford. But actually, Tamla came to me, I would say, over a year ago. And she came to me at the time of her passing. And she actually wanted to make this video last week, which was the time of her passing. So she passed November 4th, 2018. And she passed in Cummings, Georgia. And she is from, she was born in Kingstown, St. Vincent, Grenadines. And I'll get into the story of her more, who she is and how she passed. And she's just, she's kind of twirling around like in the grass, and she's very peaceful, guys. So she wants to let you know, like many starseeds, she was autistic, and that's a key to this story too. And she had ADHD, and she said she was a spaz. And now she's she's twirling fast. She's dancing. And she said she loved to twirl as a kid, which many of us on the spectrum love to do. It, I don't know what it does. It just kind of relaxes us. So even though she was born on the islands, she's like, that's going to come in handy later when we're talking, in the Grenadines, she did live briefly in the Bronx, and she said it was too rough up here for her disposition and too cold. So she ended up moving to Florida. So, she's singing the Fresh Prince song. I once got, what is it? Once got in my neighborhood. I got in 2 small fights, something like that. Yeah, she's singing because she almost got involved in with a gang. She said she got robbed, and she was partying, and she didn't realize she was partying with a gang. She got robbed and threatened, and they ended up leaving Florida. Let's see here. She's saying that it definitely was not her time to die. She was only 40, and going on 41. And oh yeah, it's just so sad, guys. Oh goodness. So I'm sorry, Tamla. She said she's like, she's singing, say my name, say my name. A lot of people had a hard time with her name, and I think Anna Nicole talked about this. Guys, be proud of your name and make others say it. It's really super lazy. Maybe not, strangers or acquaintances, but friends. And she said, yeah, even acquaintances. But if you're going to be around people, correct them, make them say their name. It's very narcissistic and lazy for someone not to be able to say your name because maybe they haven't heard it before, or they want to call you something different, or they're just disrespectful. Make them say your name. Her name is Tamla. Is it that hard? For those of you who are familiar with Tamla and you've watched her, you've watched documentaries or true crime, a lot of people have had a hard time saying her name. And she also didn't like immediately being called Tam by people she didn't know well. So it's funny because, my name's Tamra, and I don't like that either. I've had a lot of people try to call me something else and say, oh, I'm going to call you Tammy, or, I don't know, it's weird. I think that's like a power play. Anyway, guys, so it wasn't her time to die, and she had 5 beautiful boys. They're star seeds, a mix of different star seeds. She had 1 beautiful stepdaughter, and she's like yelling. She's like, I had 6 kids. She considers her stepdaughter to be a daughter, and she loved her very much, and it's really important to her. The news, the reports, stories always say that she had 5 children, and she gets it. She had 5 biological children, and she loved being a mom. Oh boy, guys. So her passing, guys. So Tamla was invited to an adult sleepover. She says she wishes she never went. Her friend John and she's saying, interestingly enough, her friend John, the name is spelled Jeanne. So, but no one had trouble saying her name. Yeah. So anyway, she went to her friend John's adult slumber party in Cummings, Georgia, and anyway, so she went to this adult slumber party, and she was getting to know John, and she was getting to know this group of ladies, and it was bring your own booze, and so she brought a bottle of tequila, and she said that's another misnomer, is that she brought it as a birthday present. She brought it because she liked to drink it, and it said, and it was a bring your own booze party, and she thinks that's funny too, how alcohol has certain like connotations in different places. Like, she's from the Grenadines, and it's popular to drink tequila. It's considered actually kind of fancy, and she bought a really nice one, and they tend not to drink to excess like Americans, so she didn't know the big drama behind tequila, and it's called tequila here, and she didn't know like everyone overdoes it when they're younger. So this was like the big thing at the party, was just like tequila as an adult. And so she's laughing at that, at like how trendy we all are, and how different things have different meanings. Anyway, she thinks that that's funny, and I get it because I've traveled a lot, so I get these things like what our trends are, and how conditioned we are to respond certain ways to certain things. Like the women were like, oh my, and she has a fan out now, and she's like, oh Lord, tequila, oh, I could never. Like everyone's suddenly so genteel. This is funny. So anyway, yeah, so she went to this slumber party. She was having a good time. She didn't want to go, guys. Please trust your intuition. Please, please, please. Especially if you are a starseed. Please trust your intuition. It's get to know your intuition, trust it. In fact, you guys, if you feel like you have psychic ability, this is something you could do. You could stop the video now, and you can try to figure out what I'm going to say about Tamla. Like, if you know her story, that she passed away at this sleepover, maybe you can just quickly look it up, see who was there, and use your intuition, and you write down who you think did it, and then come back to the video. You know, I did that for a long time before I started really trusting my intuition. That and doing tarot readings for like 20 years before I'm like, okay, I'm ready. But anyway, that's something that you guys can do before you watch these kinds of videos, is tune in, talk to Eric, see if you can talk to spirit or use your own form of intuition, and see if you come up with the answers. So, okay, moving on. I have some notes here. So, and I'm talking to Tamla and talking to my team. I'm trying to figure out if we should just get right into the story here. I have lots of notes from she's been with me, talking to me for over a year, and she's been waiting patiently behind other people. So I've just made some notes throughout the this whole time. So she's telling me to breathe. That's a lot. There's so much energy here in the room. Yes, let's go to the party. She brought the tequila. They drank. She said she had like 3 drinks, but they were small. She did not overdo it, guys, at this party. She was having a good time. And one of the big questions on everyone's mind was how well she knew these women, and were they racist, because this town has been known in the past to be a racist town. There was an incident in the past where someone was a woman, it was the R word done to her, and an African American man was blamed, and then yeah, sorry, they're that's not funny. They're talking to me. They're like, okay, that we don't have to get too much into that. But anyway, that's an old story that happened there. And Tamla is saying that these women at the party, she didn't know well, but they were not racist. She said they might have been, it's not might have been, they were, some of them were a little classist, but the way that they viewed Tamla was that she was a bit different. So she didn't know them well, but she was getting to know John well. And she wants to let you all know that there were no starseeds there. They were all reptilian, and just a regular reptilian, which some of my subscribers are. This is not a bad thing. And then one was dark reptilian. But the women at the party were just average, nice American women from Georgia. She said, a little classist, which is normal. They looked at her, they looked up to her because of her personality, looked a little down at her. She appeared to maybe not be doing as well financially as them, but was doing well and was happy with her family, but you know how it goes. So, maybe just a little bit, but that's okay. That happens in groups. she's just saying how this group of women viewed her, and they thought she was hilarious and a little too much, a little extra. But with ADHD and her being autistic, sometimes she didn't read social cues. Sorry for the camera, guys. Sorry, this. Let me breathe. She didn't always read the room 100%, but she said she's glad she had boys because it was she had her stepdaughter, but like in her life at that time, her sons, she could really relate to. Of being autistic is sometimes being like straightforward, and it was good to have sons, but she also she said light socializing with women. And she said that had she lived, she would have stayed friends with this group. Not like best friends, but there was a nice balance there. And although John was reptilian, it was positive, and she would have remained friends with John and remained friends with this group. She said there's no bad blood there. So anyway, as time went on, everyone had a good time, and let me just look at the notes too and see if I need to interject anything. So oh boy, guys, this is tough. The way that it was reported was that as the party started winding down, that she had been going, out on the porch having cigarettes and I don't know if I could say this, Mary Jane, she was smoking a little bit of that, and they teased her about that because John's boyfriend, Jose, was a court officer, and so she put it away. These little details are interesting. So the different news reports and documentaries always like to point out that Jose was 27, which is kind of funny because they don't really, they do report Tamla's age, but not like everyone's, but she said they report that because it sounds like this young stud. Anyway, we're both digressing, but I just don't want to miss any of her notes before I get fully into the story. It's hard to talk about, guys, too. So, according to the story from everyone at the party, some people had gone home, some people had gone to bed. Tamla was up she was one of the last ones up, and she was last seen having some gumbo in the kitchen, and then the story went that she fell from the second floor and passed away, and they found her in the morning. And so before we get into what really happened, she wants to say that it was a bungled investigation, and it was a little, some of the police were a little racist, but also it's like they were told what happened, and laziness, and also friendliness with the people there. Anyway, it was bungled. She said the second investigation was bungled too. The second investigation was open June 12th of 20 and closed June 28th of 21. She said the pandemic didn't help things. But now the family has a lawyer, and the lawyer looked over all of the evidence and believes that it was homicide. And that was due to the second autopsy. So let me just look here. Okay. So guys, she wants to mention, she has a message. She says many of you are trying to figure out how to know if someone is a dark reptilian, and if they are, if they have one or more of the dark triad traits, which is narcissism, covert or overt narcissism, sociopathy, or psychopathy. So she really wants you to look at people's eyes, and she said you can go through and look on my community tab, or you can look, this would be a really good way to look at the difference in people, because especially like her being naive, like she didn't really make eye contact because of her autism, and she missed a lot. So she's offering this to you, and you guys can go and look at my Instagram too. So what I've been doing on my community feed and my Instagram is I've been uploading pictures of people and what they are, and you can look at the difference in people's eyes. So she's saying, like, also with the eyes, there's oftentimes like a smirk, and really look for smugness in a person, and it's like smug eyes that aren't necessarily like strong, like it's subtle, guys. I can really see it now that I've been doing this, and I've been working with Jesus, and Jesus has been telling me who's who, and a lot of it is not just like, it's not finger pointing, it's just to know who's who and what's what, and how to distinguish people, because this is important work. We're trying to figure out who to trust, and it could save our lives collectively or just individually. So part of the bungled investigation, these are things that she'd really like to point out. They said that her alcohol was 3 times the legal limit. Well, that's not her doing, guys, and we'll get to that in a minute. That she had Xanax in her system, which she did, and she didn't take that on her own. That was given to her. So you guys can see a pattern in people that, and I will continue to make videos I'll continue doing mediumship reads, talking to people. I have a whole group that have all been taken out the same way. People who the alibi seems so clear, like, oh, they like to party. Like Tamla had a couple drinks. She had a little bit of a joint. I hope I can say that. And she was known to do that. So unfortunately, and it's also someone of like the Pleiadian Arcturian mix. She is an entertainer. She's funny. She likes to party. She's an extrovert. And because of that, this is a common thing. Dark reptilians, narcissists, what have you, they will use your own traits against you. So it's like they already had an alibi for her passing. And she didn't drink a lot. She had like 3 small drinks spread out with lots of food, and she even ate before she wanted to go to bed, so that she didn't feel drunk. She didn't like feeling really drunk. So she did like to party. I'm just reading now. And she said, this is something I've discussed before, is this goes in movies and culture, which I've said before, movies and culture have been downloaded by spirit and written oftentimes by starseeds, but like the Dracula movies, like don't invite a vampire into your home. She's saying it's the opposite too. So don't invite darkness into your home, but also don't go into darkness. So guys, she's giving a warning of really, really be careful of who you're around, what you're eating, what you're drinking. Make sure you're around people you trust. And you're going to see more of this as time goes on, and I have more people with these similar stories. But this is a very common way that people are being taken out now, and especially if you are social and you do like to party, this can be a way that someone can take you out. And people are also being taken out with their own prescription medications. So it would be like someone giving you more than your needed dose. This is so sad. I don't like talking about this, guys, but I'm a medium and I want to represent Tamla. And she's so awesome, you guys. Now she's on a horse and she's riding on the beach. She loved animals, which, most, especially the Pleiadian Arcturian mix. So let me just talk a little bit about that for a minute. The Pleiadian Arcturian mix without the tall white influence, it's just a very beautiful soul, and generally comes here like a love bug and to entertain and yeah, it's like can be the life of the party, usually funny, usually very talented in some way, very creative. Doesn't like to be too dark or too serious. So, all right, I think, yeah, we can get back to some of these notes. So let's get into the story, guys. So, okay, so Tamla, where I left off is everybody started to trickle to bed, and oh, I'm having such deja vu, guys, as if I made this video before. It's so funny. Whew. Yeah. So everyone's trickling to bed. Tamla's having some gumbo. One of the ladies is going home, and Jose sees Tamla and just kind of asks her, like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm just finishing up eating. He's like, oh, okay. And then she goes to have a cigarette, and he follows her, and so she's saying that Jose and John were a little like loosey-goosey and swung a little bit, like we're swingers, and the same with the other couple that had left. But Jose started making little comments, little jokes that, you know, she ignored, but he was really convinced that maybe she was into swinging too. And so he followed her and followed her outside, actually. She wasn't on that second story porch, she's making clear. He followed her outside, and she wants to make it very clear, guys, that although she liked to party, she didn't party that often, and she was very very sexually straight, like a straight arrow. And Anna Nicole Smith is with her, and Anna's like, strangely, she felt similar, but yeah, it's like there's a purity there. But anyway, Tamla did not stray from her marriage. She was very happily married. She's like, it wasn't perfect, but I mean, like, she didn't stray. And she really, she wants to make it very clear that she, you know, she didn't realize this, but she really felt she was born like feeling like sex was sacred, and she really felt that way. Like, she didn't talk about it that way, but she felt it. And that's something I'm gonna make videos on, sacred sexuality. And that's something that starseeds are intrinsically born with. They don't always behave that way or feel that way. They can be very sensual, and she relates to that. She loved being a monogamous mom, and she was misunderstood. But anyway, so Jose followed her when she's having that one last cigarette before going to bed, and he propositioned her about joining him and John, and she said she was just very blunt, which caught him off guard and embarrassed him. And Jose Barrera is his name. She's saying that he is dark reptilian and a narcissist, and he got mad and he accused her of coming on to him and accused her of like acting like she wanted it, and they argued, and he got mad and he got embarrassed, and he also thought that he was going to get in trouble because it was like that he was going to get exposed, and that John would be exposed, and he overreacted and started hitting her, and she started fending off his blows. Like, he tried to hit her in the face and the head, and she stopped him with her arms, and that's why she had scratches on her arms. But then he hit her in the chest, and she turned and she went to run away, and she was running in the yard, and she tripped over these things in the garden and fell. And it was the combination of blows. She had a heart laceration, and then of course he didn't save her, and she passed, and he actually gave her the Xanax and poured extra alcohol in her, and that's how she passed, guys. And sickly, he went up to his girlfriend's room and was with her intimately, and John's aunt saw her the next day and didn't want to make a huge deal about it. She thought she had like passed out and didn't want to embarrass her, and wasn't thinking at all that she wasn't alive. And she went to talk to Jose and have him check on her, because he's a court officer. So anyway, they at first thought she had passed out, and then when they didn't, they went up to her, and it was actually Jose who was like, I don't think she's alive, and that's when they called 911. But she wants to make it clear, guys, that the women at the party, there was no foul play with them, that it was Jose, and that he's not, Jose isn't like an sort of ongoing sociopath. It's just that he was a narcissist who was under pressure and lost control and then covered it up. And that's why he ended up getting fired from his job, because he was caught looking into records. And without getting like too technical, if you guys are really into the technicality, you guys can, there are some armchair detectives on YouTube, and there are other documentaries done on this. But this is what Tamla is telling me from the other side. This is what I'm hearing, and Eric Medhus is helping, and my team is helping, and the Galactic Federation is helping. And I just want to see if Tamla has anything else to say. It was not her time to go, guys, at all. That was not in her contract to leave early. It's very, very sad. Her boys don't have their mom. Her husband doesn't have his wife, all because she went to this party. And sorry, let me keep moving the camera. Guys, her intuition told her not to go, and she actually wanted to go home at some point, and they had talked her into staying, because you know it was late and they didn't want anyone to drive, and you know how it goes. It wasn't, they didn't force her to stay, but her heart, like her intuition, you know, she had a strong intuition, and she's saying, you know, there are a lot of people from the islands who are Arcturian reptilian mix, Arcturian Pleiadian mix. And that's why oftentimes she's saying a lot of them, you know, when they move to New York City, it's like too rough for them. You know, New York City over the years has gotten very reptilian, even though there's a lot of like starseeds here too, artists, or there were more, but it's more of a reptilian environment, and it's just a little rough for that mix. So that's interesting. I think many of us can see, like, oftentimes you go down to the islands and it just seems like, you know, it's just a different way of life, and you know, not always, not everywhere, not across the board, but there are, you know, some gentler people. But she's saying that it wasn't her time to go, and she was going to eventually like foster other children. Her husband is a tall white. Her kids are a mixture. And one of her big messages, guys, is regardless of what you are, starseed, reptilian, the worst thing that you could do in life, she's saying, is to not care. And she understands, like, it's a cold world, reptilian world, but personally, for your own happiness, not caring is going to be the number one thing that's going to make you unhappy. Not caring for others, that she's saying that's why we're here in any way possible, is to care for others. And that's why and she's telling me, like, you know, I'm Archangel Uriel. One of my big missions is to help people figure out what they're best at and why they're here. But she's saying that too, but just caring what you care about will lead you to that. And she was going to go on and, like I said, foster children. And she loved it, guys. She said not always, like, her life wasn't perfect. Sometimes it did get a little like crazy with having such a big family. And she is recommending that if you do have this sort of suburban life and you have children, that you do find times to go out with your spouse, or just go out for lunch with your friends, and wear something nice and relax, and, you know, make it special, have special occasions to break up she doesn't want to call it monotony, because I'm calling it that. She, you know, just to keep things exciting in different ways, especially if you feel you are a starseed. And she's saying especially if you are an introvert, even though, well, of course, if you're an extrovert, like, you need, and if you have ADHD, you need variety. But she's saying even introverts, she's saying it's a very, very American thing, like, and Anna brought this up, like, try not to get too much in the rut of just, like, always wearing, you know, sweats or yoga pants and things like that, and never going out. You know, days turn into weeks, and you need to mark occasions, and you know, make some days special. And definitely that's the Arcturian Pleiadian mix, is you know, they sparkle and they shine, and they want to make things special. And it's really hard, because we're kind of living in a little bit of a, sorry about the camera, we're living in a little bit of a somber time. It just kind of slowly happened over time, with a lot of different factors making that happen. The economy, crime, and all that stuff. I just want to see, guys, if she has anything else to say. Tamla, do you have anything else to say? She's just hugging me, guys. She's like a love bug. And she smells really good. Her hair is really soft. She smells like a cocoa butter. She said, yeah, it's like a secret. She has like a fairy godmother wand, and she's just like making stars. And she's saying it's really hard to, on the one hand, she really wants you all to enjoy your lives and be the magic people that you are, and yet somehow protect yourselves at the same time. And how do you find that balance? How do you find that balance in today's world? But she'd like you to try to use your intuition. Try to trust, but also keep one eye open. And watch videos, guys, on narcissism. Watch videos on sociopathy. If you can somehow somehow maybe learn to simultaneously have this awareness without making it make you closed off or bitter or mean or distrustful. It's a really tough balance. And she says love. Love is the answer. She's singing that Beatles song. Love is the answer. But that's the answer, guys. Love runs deep, and you can keep love in your heart and without being completely naive and letting things like this happen to you. She's saying this adult sleepover party was not a good idea. That especially without her husband, she could have maybe gone and got a babysitter, but unfortunately, she's recommending, doing something like this. You could maybe, if you wanted to, hang out with other adults and not drive and you guys could go on a vacation together with separate rooms or go on a cruise. That this is just not a good idea, that she didn't know, that as soon as there were people that she didn't know, that she should have left. And maybe this will help somebody out there. She's saying we got to get serious for a minute, have a game plan. Don't be alone with men you don't know, if you're a woman, or even things are happening to men all over the world. They're getting lured into situations and it's a dangerous time. And don't be alone with strangers, especially drinking and especially sleeping. She didn't know these people. She knew John, but John ended up breaking up with Jose. And Jose's a creep. And she's saying that John's ex-husband is a starseed, and he didn't allow his daughter to be around Jose. So he had the intuition. And also to let you know that no one at the party suspects Jose, that Jose did this. So they were all innocent in they were all fully convinced that she fell. So that's why, unfortunately, and I don't like this, they didn't take good notes. She's saying take notes when things happen. They didn't take good notes. They assumed that she fell. And guys, she wants to also say, like, please use your intelligence too. Like, it just doesn't make sense that she would, how could she have fallen from that balcony? She would have had to like sit on the railing, which doesn't make sense. They had chairs. She said she wasn't even up there. She was on the ground floor when she passed away. And the reason that nobody heard was because everybody else was upstairs. So the women were just kind of negligent in remembering all the details, which is not right. But it wasn't malicious. They weren't protecting anyone. They didn't suspect. They'd be horrified if they knew it was Jose. They'd be like, they should know it was Jose, though, to protect themselves from anything like this happening in the future to them or their loved ones. And we need to pass these stories down, and we need to teach the younger generation how to be safe and not to do this. And even a lot of things are happening to young kids now. In schools, you're seeing it all over the news. And I did a video. I'm realizing that I need to do like more than one video, like on certain things Jesus has said. And in this case, he talked about safety and about watching yourself and your surroundings and your drinks and who you're around and what their intentions are. And there's really no need for you to be alone with anyone that you don't know. And we all really need to start taking precautions, protecting our home more, having a game plan with all of the crimes that I talked about, ambushing, burglary, and lots of crimes are being committed now in very sacred events, and a lot of these crimes are being shared on the internet with gang members. And she's going back to the gang. They're all in unison in this thinking, and she's helping with this because she almost got sucked into a gang in Florida. And they're out there on the prowl, and they come up with these wacky things to do, and they brag about it. They're making videos, and they're taking out they're taking out people they know that are successful in their own community, in other communities. So pretty much like almost everyone's a target now, and it's about getting all the money, doing wacky things, and it's terrorism too. Now, I'm bringing this up because Tamla's just wanting to use her time to talk about this, and I know that that's not what happened to her, But she also wants you to look at pictures of Jose Barrera and look at his eyes. They're kind of like dead eyes. And they had me do this, guys. They had me go, like, watch some videos and look at people's faces, and you know, they're teaching me, so they want me to teach you and to get Tamla's message, and now she's saying all you need is love. Burr, 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 burr. Yeah. Sorry, Tamla, that happened to you, and I'm sorry for your family, and I hope that I hope you guys learned from this video, and I hope that this can save lives, and I'm glad to let you all know that Tamla, the mother of 6, didn't just go to a party and down a bottle of tequila and somehow sit on a second floor balcony and fall off. That's not what happened to her, and that's not how she wants to be remembered. And to let you know that sometimes if something happens to you, you may be remembered in this like really wacky way, and it's not fair. And let me also end with the overarching message of, I'm sorry to say, but if you are a starseed, you will attract dark reptilians and narcissists who either want to play with you, take you out, harm you in some way. They don't like your light, and Tamla's saying your light disturbs their demons, and the dark reptilian energy that hangs out in the 4th dimension, that's just clogged there from just centuries of darkness. It's hard to explain, but a dark energy lives there and sends negative messages to everyone. But so even, you know, starseeds, when you're down, you get these negative messages, but especially reptilians and dark reptilians, you have to be very careful. You get these negative messages of harming or doing something, harming yourself, harming other people. But you know, Jose was in a dark place and doing dark things, guys. Be careful. Doing things with your body and things that aren't sacred puts you, you know, I'm not saying you have to live a perfect life, and that's why Jesus worries about the messages and how they were misconstrued, and people thought, oh, you do this one thing and you know you won't get into heaven. That's not true. What it is like, the more darkness in your life, it opens like it's like a portal. It just lets the dark energy seep in, and you know, doing things like swinging is not, no one's here to judge you, but it just is not a positive thing for yourself, your marriage, your relationship, your body, your sacredness. Swinging it's subjecting you to lots of people's different energies. You don't know what's going to come through. But anyway, it's not like Jose set out to do this, but Jose had creepy intentions, and then the creepy intentions grew, and then him being arrogant and narcissistic couldn't own what he was, like, he couldn't own being wrong about Tamla, and he couldn't own the embarrassment. And this is something too, guys, to remember. Oops, sorry. If you get into a situation like this, she's saying, like, you don't have to confront someone like, well, it was kind of hard for her to get out of this situation, but she did react and she did get upset, and but he was very aggressive. It would have been very hard for her to get out of this situation, because he assumed that she was going to tell. So, but in other situations, if you can just, remove yourself, try to minimize the drama, because you don't know who you're dealing with, especially if people have been drinking, what their demons are, what their darkness is. So anyway, she's like, okay, I think everyone's getting it, and she's sending you all love, and she's splaying me with like rainbows and stars, and it feels really good. And she's saying, enjoy your time, guys, while you're here, and pray to her. If you need help with your kids and how to organize your schedule and stay happy, like what are the words? Like, she's more showing me things like how to enjoy your family and not unravel, and try to stay calm with your partner, and try to enjoy your life and make it fulfilling without having to like swing and have too much extra stuff to have to keep you entertained and fulfilled. Okay, with that, I'm gonna say thank you to my team. Thanks, you guys, for watching. Thank you, Tamla. Sorry I kept moving the camera. Let's say good night to New York City. Good night to the Empire State Building. Good night to Tamla Horsford, and we'll just say we'll see you on the other side. All right, thank you guys. Good night.